Hello, I'm Nathan Carlin. This is Life and Work. Life and Work is a series where we talk to scholars and intellectuals about the connections between their public scholarship and their personal lives. Life and Work is supported by the McGovern Center for Humanities and Ethics. Today we're talking with Dr. Anna Reisman. She's a professor of medicine and director of the Program for Humanities in Medicine at Yale School of Medicine. Dr. Reisman, thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. How did you get interested in medicine?
So I was undergrad, I was an English major, and had absolutely no interest in science. My high school science experience was not particularly inspiring. And so I was happy to get to college and realize that I could focus completely on the humanities, literature and music and the arts and history of art and all of these other things that I didn't do in high school.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And when I was a rising senior, so the summer before senior year, I was starting to think about what I might do, and I looked at publishing, went on a couple of interviews at publishing houses, and thought about grad school in the humanities, and nothing seemed to be right. And so I just happened to be reading The Magic Mountain that summer, and that book actually inspired me to think about science. It's a slog of a book. It took me an entire summer.
Really?
Yeah. It's big and heavy and complicated, but really great. And there's a lot about the history of medicine. There's a lot about biology, and in a historical context. And I just found it utterly fascinating. And so I decided that I would take freshman bio as a senior.
And this is at Yale University?
At Yale College, yeah.
Yale College, okay.
Yeah, so I did it, and it was a great class. And then I thought maybe my path is in science. And so after I graduated, I enrolled in Columbia's post-bac program, not with medical school in mind at that point, but really to just kind of catch up on the basic science classes that I had avoided all my life until then.
Yeah, that's amazing. So it's literature that got you interested in medicine. Yeah. It's literature. Yeah, and and so you read The Magic Mountain. Yeah. You're interested in science, kind of, for the first time, really, as an adult. Mm-hmm. You know, what do you remember? What it was about that book, about the science in that book that was so moving to you, or?
There are some pretty detailed descriptions of tuberculosis and sickness, and I just found it really interesting, and just nature, the natural world. Yeah. And I don't know if it was a particular, unique moment, but in the process of reading that book, I thought, gosh, I've been ignoring that whole half of life in the world. Yeah. And it's actually interesting, and it's actually all related and connected, and I need to give it some attention. And so I was lucky enough that my parents agreed to help support me in a post-bac. Yeah.
Were your parents physicians?
No.
They weren't?
No.
Was anybody a physician in your family before?
A great uncle.
Your great uncle?
But but nobody that I was close to. So I really had no idea what
you were getting into.
What I was getting into, or what I was not even thinking that I was getting into at that point. But yeah, so in the process of taking those classes at Columbia, I started thinking about medicine. I read Oliver Sacks.
You did?
I did, and I read Lewis Thomas, and I read Richard Selzer, kind of the big name doctor writers of the era, and I thought, wow, this is actually kind of cool, and you can do everything, and it's humanities and medicine. Yeah. And
so this would have been early 90s?
Late 80s.
Late 80s?
Yeah.
Okay. And so, Oliver Sacks then was just in the news, he was a public persona.
Because I think, I don't remember what year The Man Who Mistook His Wife for a Hat came out, but it was probably
around that time. Yeah.
Yeah. And I just thought, oh my God.
Yeah.
This is it.
Yeah.
It's medicine that I've never thought about and have been avoiding.
Yeah.
And would never have considered suddenly seemed like the obvious choice.
Yeah. That's amazing. Yeah. So it's literature gets you The Magic Mountain. Literature gets you interested in medicine. you're taking some science classes then at Columbia. You see Oliver Sacks in the news, and so you start reading him, and then you decide to go. You go to medical school. And where did you go to medical school?
NYU.
You went to NYU, yeah. And so at NYU, did you go in with an open mind, or did you say, I want to be a neurologist like Oliver Sacks? Or
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
No, I went in with an open mind because I appreciated that I really didn't know very much about the field.
Yeah.
Although I don't even remember when. Maybe after my psychiatry rotation, I thought, or before, actually, I should say, before my psychiatry rotation, I thought maybe psychiatry. But I was really attracted to the idea of psychiatry and getting to know people and having long conversations and listening to them and kind of sitting in an office like this we're doing right now and just listening to people really share their deepest concerns and worries and anxieties, and that really appealed. For a while. Yeah.
That version of psychiatry appealed to you, and then you went on your rotation, and it wasn't anything like that.
It was not. No, it was it was all inpatient psychiatry on a locked ward. So people were really
sick.
Serious mental illness, and I couldn't connect with people because they were psychotic, and
right.
It was just not what I had imagined. On the other hand, like, private practice of psychiatry also was unappealing for various other reasons. So it was kind of something that fascinated me, but it didn't necessarily feel right. And then I also really liked primary care. I was able to do a full year rotation in primary care, so I actually had continuity.
A full year primary care?
Yeah, it was an elective.
Yeah.
And so I had continuity with a handful of patients who I felt like were my patients.
Yeah.
And I felt responsible for them and checked up on them and was neurotic about it. And I loved that. And then psychiatry was still in the back of my mind. And then I met one of my attending physicians in primary care had done both. She had started in primary care, and then she was actually doing a psychiatry residency. And the one thing that she told me that pushed me towards primary care was she said, in psychiatry, you can't hug your patients. Which I have since found out is not actually true. You are allowed to.
Yeah.
If you want to, when the patient wants to.
Yeah.
But it's kind of funny that was like the one thing that made me say, okay, I'll do primary care.
Yeah. Do you hug your patients now in internal medicine?
I mean, occasionally, but I don't want it to be like not allowed.
Yeah.
If it feels right in the moment.
Yeah. That's amazing. A comment like that could be so directive.
Yeah.
For the course of your life. Yeah.
Right.
And so, but you're happy with
primary care?
With primary care and internal medicine.
Yeah, primary care is a great field.
Primary care is a great field, yeah.
And there's a lot of psychiatry in primary care, so
yes.
You get everything.
You get everything, yes, yeah. So you go to NYU as a medical student, and then you come to decide internal medicine, primary care is your field, and you go to NYU for residency?
Yeah, I stayed at NYU and Bellevue for residency, in the primary care residency, which was great. And so that was for 3 years, and then I stayed on for a year as primary care chief resident, which was also great, and a nice kind of transition from being a resident to being attending and getting to hang out with all of the attending physicians.
Yeah. And what did your in terms of your life of reading and writing and during that period look like? What did that look like?
During residency at med school. I mean, I read and I wrote. I kept a journal, especially once I started my clinical rotations, and it was very obvious that I would not have time to reflect and think about the gazillion things that were happening every day on rotations. So I found that writing them down was like something I had to do when I got home at the end of the day or at midnight or whatever it was. And so, I typed. I'm really like aging myself here, but
you would type up.
I would type into my typewriter, not computer.
Not computer.
My typewriter. the events of the day and the patients that stuck with me and the interactions that I knew that I wanted to think about at some point, and I just got them down so I wouldn't forget them.
Yeah. And you did this most days?
I did this most days.
Really?
Yeah.
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 And what if, like, you would just, like, do you feel like it was emotional processing, like, or what would it be? Like, you would get these things down and then you wouldn't have to think about them, or you wanted to capture them before they were gone, or why do you feel like you were doing this? Yeah.
Definitely both of those reasons. So definitely wanted to capture it in the moment and how I felt about it in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And also worrying that I would, it was almost like when you wake up in the morning and you just have that fleeting sense of a dream, and then if you don't write it down, it's gone.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's not quite like that.
Well, yeah.
But I didn't want these
yeah.
moments that I was experiencing just were so deserving of reflection that I was afraid if I didn't put them down, then they would just kind of, I don't know,
disappear.
They would disappear.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Just lost opportunities.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you recognized in the moment the importance of these sort of situations, encounters, experiences, and you knew rightly that they would be gone if you didn't sort of capture them and write them down. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes I think I guess I find myself kind of writing for like a different reason, not even writing anything meaningful. It's just creating lists. Like I feel like I create a list to sort of enable me to not think about the thing that I just wrote down. It's like it's a way of kind of getting things sort of out of myself. You know what I mean? And I don't know. Can you relate to that too, or not at all?
What do you mean by a list?
I guess I would find myself thinking about something, and I didn't want to forget it, so I would write it down, and therefore I could then sort of move on.
Yeah, exactly.
Move on.
Exactly.
Like I would find it like I didn't have to sort of kind of think about it.
Yeah.
But I could imagine some experiences being like that. In order to let them go, you have to write them down.
Yeah.
Like, so which would be like a little bit different. I guess that would be a different kind of experience. It'd be like not capturing it per se, but it's almost like releasing.
Right.
I don't know.
But I'm also, as we're talking about this and I'm thinking about it, I'm also realizing that there were probably, I'm sure that there were also like horrible things that happened that I didn't want to remember. And so I wouldn't write those down.
And you wouldn't write those down?
I mean, I'm assuming that because I could see myself not doing that, not doing that. But of course I can't remember any of those because I didn't write them down.
Right, you didn't write them down, yeah. Do you ever go back, do you read these? Do you go back to your journals and read them?
I mean, I haven't recently. It's a long time ago. But yeah, when I was like in my earlier days of writing essays, sometimes I would kind of leaf through for ideas and just try to remember how I felt when something was happening. Yeah. Which I couldn't, with time past, you can't remember how you felt in that moment if it's not written down. Yeah. So I did. I would look for ideas.
Yeah, yeah. And would you experience the emotion again when you?
Absolutely.
You would.
If I captured it enough with enough of the details.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
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 It's kind of amazing to be able to do that and to have that, like a record of my brain at that moment.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And do you still do that kind of journaling now?
Not as rigorously because I'm not in that kind of intensive everyday training.
Yeah.
Thank goodness. But I often write down stuff that I don't want to forget.
Yeah. So okay. So then it was the emotional intensity of the training that led to the writing. And then you're at that time you're like I'm going to journal nearly every day because of this emotionally intense experience.
Yeah.
And then you say, well, it's not as emotionally intense right now, and so I therefore don't have the need to kind of journal in the same way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. So how has your writing evolved over the years? So if it started at least at that point, and especially residency, I assume, that you're capture. It's emotionally intense, and you're writing to capture things. How did it evolve over the years, kind of since then?
So back then, I wrote poetry because it was short and it seemed like something that I could squeeze into 3 moments, which was fun for a while. And then I allowed myself to move into personal essays, a little bit longer, but not too long. Also, those forms appealed because they seemed like just things that I would be likely to be able to complete.
Yeah.
As opposed to much longer. Like, I wasn't going to write a novel.
Right. Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
Or even a long essay. So I just kind of started writing these 1,200 to 2,000 word, more or less, essays or articles or reviews, and this kind of short form just became what I became skilled at because I did it all the time, and I didn't try other things.
Yeah. And a lot of your early stuff went to the LA Times, is that right?
Yeah, I had a couple of pieces that went to the LA Times, and then that column ended.
At the LA Times, yeah.
Yeah, they had a physician or healthcare worker column for a while. Yeah, a lot of places used to have these, and they don't anymore. The New York Times had a column for doctors in their Science Times for years, and then it stopped.
Oh, did it stop?
Yeah. Like cases. And so, one time I wrote this. My dream was to get something into that column, and I studied all of the prior ones that I could find and their structure and how they were presented, and I worked for a ridiculously long time on one. And that one got in 2008, so that was very exciting.
Oh, okay.
But then shortly after that column folded.
And this was for the New York Times. Yeah. So you read them over and over and over again.
I did. I really studied it.
And studied the structure and say, this is how to do it. Yeah. And And okay, so back to the LA Times. When you got your pieces published there, did you just send them in cold, or?
I think I sent the first one in cold.
Uh-huh.
And then after that, I had a relationship with one of the editors, and could send them directly to her.
Uh-huh. And she would just invite you to write pieces, or you would pitch an idea?
I mean, I would pitch. I don't even remember if I pitched an idea. I probably pitched a full article because they were short.
Oh, okay.
It was like 1,000 words. So I probably just sent them to her, and then she said, with some work maybe, or this looks great, or not right for us.
Yeah.
But at least there was a person that I was dealing with, who was, very welcoming and appreciating when I sent her things.
Yes.
So I did a couple for them. I wrote one about about cutting tonails.
Cutting toenails. The importance of cutting toenails? Or?
It was about seeing a patient on a home visit. For a couple of years, I made home visits for the VA, and this patient. There were so many things that I could do. I could adjust his blood pressure medication. I could do this. I could do that. But all he wanted was for me to cut his toenails because they were so long that they were painful. It was painful for him to walk.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Uh-huh.
And I looked at the toenails, and they were just like the worst toenails you can imagine.
Yeah.
Really long and really thick and just like curved over. And,
yeah.
And anyway, I wasn't going to do it because I thought if I do this, it's a slippery slope and I'll be cutting toenails for every patient.
Yeah.
My reputation will be, get Anna, she'll do it.
That's the toenail lady.
Yeah, the toenail doctor. And I'm not a podiatrist. Yeah. But anyway, so I did cut his toenails.
Oh, you did? Okay.
He was so happy. And, and I realized that, doing this little thing was just very meaningful for him. It really improved his quality of life. And then I cut a lot of toenails on my home visits.
You did?
I did.
Really?
I did.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
Uh-huh. Yeah. And just because you would see the need and then do it. It wasn't, That's interesting. Yeah. So it was a broadening of sort of perspective.
It was.
As to what is it a doctor can do or should do. What is, I can imagine it
especially in a home visit.
A home visit.
Yeah, which is just kind of a different territory.
Yeah. Well, I could see that being very healing.
It was nice.
For him, yeah. And so then you write the essay. And so the point of that essay then would be about the scope of practice, kind of like broadening the scope of, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, that's great. Yeah, that's really good. Yeah. And you do quite a bit of teaching of writing as well for medical students and for residents. How did you get into teaching writing?
So, in 2002 or so, I was precepting primary care residents at the VA, and heard from one of them who knew that I was interested in writing and wrote that Abraham Verghese was coming to give a workshop for residents.
Okay, yeah. This is at Yale.
It was at Yale and the VA.
Yeah, at Yale and the VA. Yeah. Uh-huh.
And I was so excited, and I almost felt frantic about making sure that I got involved. And I was junior faculty, and it was not a workshop for faculty, it was for residents. But I found out who the contact person was and who was running it, and set up an appointment and pleaded my case. And I said, can I just sit there and be a fly on the wall? I just really was desperate to be there.
Yeah.
And I was allowed to be there. In fact, there was a medical student who was an MD PhD in anthropology who was going to be there also as an observer to write a paper about it.
Oh, about that experience, about the writing.
Yeah.
So Abraham Verghese, he must have been famous at this time.
Yeah.
He was. Yeah.
I think he probably had 2 books out then, My Own Country and The Tennis Partner, maybe.
Okay.
I may be incorrect about the dates, but pretty sure those were both out. And so the two of us sat there and observed and took notes and listened and learned.
Yeah.
And it was great. And we did end up writing a paper about that workshop experience. But anyway, long story short, this is how I got involved. And then the following year, I encountered Richard Seltzer, who's also a New Haven-based doctor writer, very famous surgeon writer, one of my inspirations to think about medicine, and asked him, with my heart beating, would you, Dr. Seltzer, would you consider doing this? And he was very enthusiastic about it.
Really?
And, very generously said that he would love to. And so for the second, third, and fourth years of the Writers' Workshop, I co-taught with him.
You co-taught?
Yeah.
With Richard Seltzer? That's amazing.
So I learned a ton from just the kinds of writing exercises that he put forth and the way that he critiqued people's writing.
Okay. Was he, I just know him from reading his critiques of others. Was he that critical in person too?
He was pretty critical. And he did say multiple times, I can't remember if he said it to the residents or just to me, but why are we doing this? Nobody's going to be, none of these people are going to be famous. Is it even worth doing? I don't know. There was something like that.
Yeah.
And I said, it's absolutely worth it. These are skills. You never know what people will do with it. And not everybody has to be famous to glean the benefits of writing and to get their voices out there. So he was an interesting person to work with. So anyway, I co-taught with him for a couple of years, and then I taught myself a couple of years, and then I recruited my friend and colleague Lisa Sanders, and she joined me for many years.
Well, it's just fascinating that you have such a close relationship with Seltzer, such an important, person in the history of kind of all of it. What was he like? What was he like as a person? Yeah.
Aside from being critical.
Yeah.
And very blunt.
Blunt and critical.
But when he gave somebody a compliment about a phrase that he really liked, it was really nice, because you knew that he really meant that that was, that phrase rose above everything else and was actually poetic in his mind. And that somebody did something interesting with the language, because of course he was a master of playing with words and really thinking about the sound and the color and.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, I guess when I think about, a lot of the Dr. writers that I've read, he does stand out.
Mm-hmm.
He does in terms of craft. That it seems like it is down to the. I don't know if it's down to the word level. Maybe it's down to the word level, but it is down to the phrase level. Like every sentence is crafted. It's tight.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. There isn't anything excessive there. It's beautiful. It's really something to read him.
Yeah. Sometimes I feel like occasionally it's a little overwritten. A little bit.
Yeah.
Here and there.
Yeah.
But overall.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. No, we use him in class and around here and then we also read this essay. I think he makes on your point about him being critical. There's this. I don't know if it was in the Bellevue Literary Review, but he makes this point that just because you have an MD doesn't make you qualified to write, and he says that doctor writers need to be judged by the same standards of any literary critic. It's that the bar should not be lowered simply because they're sort of doctors. And then he was really critical of William Carlos Williams, and I guess I'd have to check the dates. I would think that maybe William Carlos Williams was about the same age, maybe a little older.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I think so.
And he said he was critical of William Carlos Williams. He said that just because you break up the lines of some phrases, that doesn't make it a poem. Do you feel? Do you like what do you think about that? Is that too critical?
That is so critical.
Yeah.
No, I think Williams has some really fine poems.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot.
A lot.
Yeah, maybe Richard Seltzer just didn't quite get them.
Didn't get them. Yeah.
Or maybe he thought that poetry needed to be very kind of flowery and. I don't know. I mean, Williams is often very kind of. The language is simple and straightforward, but that was his style.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that it was.
Lesser.
Just breaking up lines of prose.
No. Yeah. And that's, I'm not a Williams expert or anything, William Carlos Williams expert or anything, but my understanding is that was all very intentional.
Of course.
Sort of on his part.
It wasn't because he couldn't think of additional adjectives.
Yeah.
More interesting verbs. He chose them for a reason.
Yeah.
Just like Seltzer chose his for a reason too.
Yeah. And the critique part seems to be, legitimate and worth thinking about. You know what I mean? But then on the other hand, like you're saying, is that there are other reasons to write other than publication and fame, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's not all about publication. Like when you were, doing your journaling every day, right? That wasn't your motivation, right? No, it wasn't. It was like there's something going on here I want to capture for me.
Right.
For me.
Exactly.
And when you teach writing, or when you're working with clinicians doing this all the time, what are some of the reasons that you think the doctors write? Why do they write? Do you think? Yeah.
I mean, there are a lot of reasons, but people write. Some people write because they're hoping to get published.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people want to get. I mean, everybody wants to get published.
Yeah.
Every doctor wants to get published.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people also are writing because it's a way to reflect.
To reflect.
And really do what I was doing with my journaling. And I think that's incredibly valuable and very different from writing for publication and kind of working on the craft. And it's another kind of writing that I teach also is reflective writing.
Reflective writing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll just tell you briefly about something that I created with a colleague at the VA for VA staff, which is a reflective writing workshop. and my colleague Pauline Chen, another Dr. Writer.
Yeah.
Who's at VA Boston. And at the beginning of the pandemic, we came up with this idea of some way for VA staff to have kind of an outlet for all of the stress of the pandemic. And so we created something, we called it initially Penning the Pandemic. And it was just at the VA Boston and VA Connecticut, and all virtual, and small groups led by the two of us and eventually others, where we would have a poem or a short piece of prose or a painting. Everybody would look at it and talk about it, not in any sort of not in a scholarly way, or not trying to talk about the deeper meaning of it, but really what do people think about when they look at this, or what do people think about when they read this poem? What stands out? Just kind of a free range conversation about it. And then we would give a writing prompt somehow connected to that, and people would share. And people just got really deep quickly with this group of strangers on Zoom. And it was really great. And these were not people who wanted to publish, but people who saw the value of writing as a means of reflecting and creating community.
Community.
Which is what this does. And so now it's expanded to the entire country.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we have trained a whole bunch of facilitators from VAs all over. And yeah, there are like 5 or 6 concurrent groups every week. And they meet for an hour a week for 8 weeks.
Really?
Yeah.
8 weeks? Wow.
And they really, and people really bond and just, I mean, it still surprises me how much people will just pour out their soul for this group this virtual group of people they don't really know other than through this. Yeah. So yeah, they're getting a lot of benefit out of it.
Yeah. It's interesting. It's sort of like the writing is the mechanism for connection.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then is this for VA only? Like this is just for the VA
hospital? This is just the VA.
It's just VA, like it's a VA program.
It's a VA program, and it's not just doctors and healthcare professionals. It's anybody who works there.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah.
And so many people are like, I haven't written since high school, and we really emphasize that it's not about the craft of writing. It's just getting stuff down. Right.
Yeah. And so this would be a different reason to sort of write is the community, the connection, and tied with reflection. That's amazing that it's taken off to such a degree, kind of like that.
Well, Pauline, I have to give her the credit for being very pushy about making sure it grew.
Oh, okay. And she also, my memory is Pauline Chen also had one of these columns, and I think it was in the Times.
She did.
Yeah,
for many years.
For many years, yeah. And before they went away, before this column. Yeah.
Once in a while, she still puts one out, and they publish it.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah. No, that's great. So, it's to kind of recap. It's sort of literature that kind of gets you into medicine, and then through medicine, you're sort of driven to self-reflect, sort of do journaling, sort of through medical school and residency is kind of a way of capturing these emotionally intense kind of experiences, and then as a young faculty member, Abraham Verghese happens to come to Yale and the VA, and you think, I need to be a part of this. I've read Oliver Sacks, I've read Abraham Verghese, this is something special, and I need to be there. And you're there, and then the following year, you take it over. You co-teach with Richard Seltzer, and now in that program, it's still going. Right, it's that writers workshop for residents at Yale, and
it's still going.
It's still going. Yeah. And so then you've also built separately from all of that, you've built a humanities and medicine program at Yale School of Medicine. So your interest in the area is broader than writing. It's
I wouldn't say that I built this program.
Oh, okay.
It actually started in the 80s.
It started in the 80s.
Oh,
okay,
in the 80s, so I'm the third director.
You're the third director. Okay, yeah.
But I've definitely made a lot of changes and added things and taken away things and put my own stamp on it for sure. But
yeah, and you were asked to kind of step into this role because of your leadership role in the writing program, I assume. Is that or how did it come about? Yeah.
Yeah. So the prior director, Tom Duffy, was ready to step down, and so a handful of us kind of talked about what should be the future of this program. And I think that the fact that I had been running the writing workshop was helped me. Helped me get that position. But I actually, it's funny, I wasn't sure I wanted it because I don't know. We won't get into that, but I wasn't sure that I wanted it, but it also seemed like such a unique opportunity that it would be crazy not to take it, because literally each of the people who had run the program were there for like 20 years each, so it wasn't like it was going to open up a few years later when I was ready.
I just
did it.
That's right, that sometimes in life there will be opportunities in front of you. And
the timing doesn't feel right, but
but you still have to take it kind of for anyway, and you sort of you saw that moment with sort of Verghese kind of being there, and there's the kind of the spark and the inspiration sort of it all, and then other times I assume you think, oh man, this is going to be a big administrative.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I don't know.
So funny.
Like, what would this do to my writing and my and you're into music. You play the flute. And you're part of the Yale Symphony, the Yale School
Medical Symphony.
The Medical Symphony. Yeah. And do you how do you feel like that integrates into your life in medical humanities or
It's a wonderful opportunity, and we have a great conductor, and it's a great group of people. It's another community.
Yeah.
I don't want to draw I don't want to say, well, playing music with a group is like, I'm not going to do that.
No.
I'm not going to draw these analogies. But it's because I think that's kind of pushing it.
Right.
But it's just, I think, again, it's the community aspect. And people who take part in that are students and faculty and staff, and so it's just a different way to connect with people around the medical center.
Mm-hmm. And I have the sense that it's sort of underdeveloped in the field, in a kind of like an academic way, that I feel like the field, medical humanities, is so textural, sort of oriented, and so literature becomes sort of the dominant sort of genre. And even like you're saying, like when you're sort of starting out, you start off with poems and then short essays and things like that. I think in the medical context anyway, in the medical school context, we tend to focus on short stories and things like that because that's what medical students can read usually, unless and we do fourth year electives where you sign books and things like that.
Right.
But yeah, the shorter form sort of fits. It tends to be textual based, and then VTS, the visual thinking strategies, and going to museums and things like that. That I feel like has had a robust kind of presence in the field, and but music, I feel like it's there's a big opportunity there, and when we have events related to music here, it's always our most well attended thing. People want to come to music.
Yeah, we usually fill our auditorium.
Yeah. And we can't do that with anything else. It's music, you know what I mean?
It's a really good point.
Yeah. And so, well, I'm glad to hear that it's both one, that you're doing it, and two, that your experience is congruent with ours too. You said you fill the auditorium when you do it.
We do.
Yeah. Like, I feel like people don't want to come and just listen to a lecture.
Because there's so many.
Yeah.
It's not special.
No.
I mean, occasionally it's special.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, at a place like Yale, it just, you look through the events of the week and it's just overwhelming. There are too many things that sound great and too many amazing people who are going to be on campus and, you know.
Right.
Sign up. I usually sign up for a lot of them and then, like a lot of people, I just can't do it.
No, yeah. And music therefore stands out.
It stands out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's something, and it seems like it's more, you can just enjoy it too, for the people who come and they can enjoy it. Yeah. So what else, or not what else, what are you working on now in terms of your writing? So you started with poetry, then you have many personal essays in a variety of places: New York Times, LA Times, Atlantic, Slate. You sort of mastered the personal essay.
I don't know about that, but I've written a lot of them.
And what do you're working on a book now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me about your book.
So I grew up with my youngest sister. Growing up, Deborah had a disease called tuberous sclerosis, which rendered her nonverbal and profoundly autistic and severely intellectually disabled. Mm-hmm. And she lived in a group home for the last 25 years of her life. Yeah, she died about 10 years ago of breast cancer. And so after she died, I'd never really thought about writing about her until several years after she died, and I guess I just had time to kind of think about her life and her experience and my experience being her sister, mm-hmm. and what it might have been like for my parents. And the more I thought about it, I think that I just realized that it was a very rich area. And so I described the book project. At the moment, I have trouble describing it because I'm still just trying to figure out how it all fits together, but kind of a medical, cultural, historical implications of intellectual disability through this prism of her disease, tuberous sclerosis. And there's a lot of historical material that's really fascinating. I've been digging through archives and looking at different aspects of the disease. Causes seizures in most people with it, and often the intellectual disability and autism are often go along with it too. And some people have skin issues and brain issues, obviously, kidney, lungs, and it's these tubers that are benign tumors that grow and cause all sorts of problems. Mm-hmm. And so I'm going all over the place with this. But anyway, so I'll just tell you about one essay that I wrote that I think got me kind of going on this. When she died of breast cancer, before she died, she had options for chemo and radiation and surgery. And for each of these, because of her intellectual disability, there were challenges that just seemed insurmountable. For example, for surgery, if she had the extensive surgery that she really needed, she would have had drains that she would have likely pulled out. So she would have had to be restrained for weeks, which just, you can't do that. If she was going to have radiation, which would have been another option, she would have literally had to have general anesthesia every day for something like 6 weeks. And that's just seems cruel and unusual. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then chemo, she would have had a port and, again, likely to pull it out. And she would have just had, horrible side effects and not understood why she was going through this. And honestly, the type of cancer that she had, it wasn't clear that any of these were going to work anyway.
Oh, yeah.
But it was just a situation where her doctors and the family, we just kind of all threw up our hands. We'll just cut corners and hope things work. Mm-hmm. And we'll do things that are not. We will not do the standard of care because it's too difficult. Mm-hmm. But we'll see what we can do. Mm-hmm. Worked for a while, and then she died.
Yeah.
So that really got me thinking about people who are intellectually disabled, and why is the standard of care different for them, or why can't they get what everybody else gets?
Yeah.
So there's a lot out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you're writing from a place of regret of how you handled it, or is it a place of just mourning, or is it a place of, or what is it? Where is it? What do you think the emotion is behind it?
That's a really good and difficult question. I think that absolutely I look back at that time and I think, what if we had been able to figure out a way to do it? Would she still be alive now?
Mm-hmm.
So definitely some regret,
Mm-hmm.
and just questioning what if.
Yeah.
And then as I've been researching her disease, this tuberous sclerosis, which, as a nurse that I talked to yesterday at the tuberous sclerosis clinic here in Houston.
Here at McGovern?
Here at McGovern. As she put it, it's a common rare disease.
A common rare disease.
Yeah. But it's like the things that are known about this disease now and what can be done about it versus when my sister was growing up, it's just mind-blowingly different.
It's just a different situation now.
There's just so much you can do.
Mm.
You could do surgery to remove tubers from the brain that can stop a seizure disorder.
Mm.
Which is just, my sister had seizures most days of her life.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there are all kinds of things. It's still a terrible disease.
Yeah.
But there are some things that can be mitigated now. So yeah, so going back to your question about how I feel about it, listening to the nurse telling me about all of these things yesterday,
yeah,
I felt sad that, if only she'd been born now instead of in the late 60s.
Yeah.
But I'm also excited to learn about what is out there now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like everything in medicine improves with time.
Yeah, yeah. So I could see, there's so many, it's early in this project for you, but it's, I just see the different strands. I could see it, part memoir, part sort of disability studies or advocacy, and part history of medicine. These are three powerful strands to put together and in some way that I think will be very, very compelling.
Thank you.
And
you're really good at putting things together. I might have to hire you when I'm putting my proposal together. What am I trying to say, Nathan?
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's I look forward to reading that, and that'll be a beautiful thing, and I hope it's healing for you.
Thank you.
Too, and well, I want to thank you for being here with us today, and it was a real delight, and best wishes on this project and everything else.
Thank you so much. So great to talk to you.